going, everyone? Just wanted to reach out quick, bring you our riding video from Larson's. I wanted to get her first take on riding the RZR off-road. She finally got to get out and drive it in some hilly terrain, a little bit of mud, and just get her hands on. So that being said, what were your first thoughts on driving a side-by-side really off-road and the RZR in general, I guess, you know?
Holy cow, I haven't been behind like the wheel of a side-by-side since we've had our Maverick, which has been, it'll be going on 4 years here because
It's missed.
Yeah. And even then I didn't actually really drive it. I just kind of drove it in the driveway and out at his family's farm.
Maybe out on the ice once or twice.
But so yeah, it's been 4 years since I've been behind the wheel of a side-by-side. So for me to just hop on and just go, I was pretty proud of myself and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Just amazed by the machine itself.
It's amazing how far they came. I mean, our Maverick was, what I would say was, it was a beast. It did awesome in the hills. It did awesome in everything I threw it at. But the little bit I jumped on the RZR, I mean, technology has came a long ways in these machines, and it was, the suspension's amazing. You just felt really stable in it.
Yes.
I don't know, she more so rode in the Mav off-road. The one thing I noticed I don't like as much is the OG Mav that we had, the engine braking on downhills was phenomenal. Like, you almost had to hit the throttle going down the hills because the engine braking was so good. From what I gathered, the RZR doesn't really have a whole lot of engine braking, which they don't advertise that it does. So I'm not complaining about it. It's just one thing you got to get used to. Yeah,
and for me, I guess the last machine that we rode in that had engine braking was the YXE when we were out in Tennessee. And so Hunter was like, "Oh, I'm not hitting the brakes," you know. He was all excited about it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then so when I hopped onto the RZR and we were going down the hills and I had to tap on the brakes, but I mean, to me, it just, I guess, I don't know, it was, I don't want to say easy, but like
it's one of those things where, like, power steering on an ATV, unless you have it, you don't know what you're missing, but once you have it, you don't want to go without it. I'm used to having it, so for her, she's never had it, so like I said, it's a very capable machine from what I could tell. Can't wait to get her down in West Virginia here in a couple weeks. I think it's going to be a blast down there.
Oh, gosh. There was a couple of parts where I was pretty sketched out because I had our 3-year-old with me, and I had to make a Y-turn on a steep turn. Oh my gosh.
There was like a little cliff on the edge of it, and honestly, I was very proud of her. She did a phenomenal job for her first time out in the trails. I was leading, but every time I look back, she wasn't struggling. She just stayed calm, which I was very impressed with.
Very hard to do when your 3-year-old is freaking out because he can't see.
It's his first time out too, so it's, he's used to road riding around here with me, but so a different experience for him.
And his helmet, he's not used to wearing a helmet like we are, so he was just freaking out because he couldn't like see, his helmet wasn't down. So I don't know, it was a lot. Some of the hills that we had to go up were pretty steep too. And just, I don't know, it was pretty easy. It was, okay, I shouldn't say easy, but like...
But the machine makes it feel easy.
Yeah, and it was fun. I guess that my biggest fear was just not having fun because I didn't know what I was doing. But I felt comfortable. I mean, maybe once or twice I might have like overcorrected and like had to like hurry up and recorrect, but
I will say from watching her, when we first got there, I could tell she was very nervous. We stopped 5 minutes in and I could tell she had already relaxed a lot, for sure. And by the end of the day, you could tell she was definitely getting, not overconfident I wouldn't call it, but she was very comfortable with the machine. And it's one thing to get used to the machine too, and where your sight lines are, because they're pretty good on the RZR, but they're not great. And even the little bit I drove it out at Larson's, you go up around the corner and you can't see where you're necessarily going. You just kind of got to know the machine, and for her to be able to do that, I was very happy with how she did. And there was one spot where had to turn coming down the hill, and I was a little sketched out at being on 4-wheeler, cutting down it. She took it like nothing. I didn't even have to tell her how to do it. She just did it and did it good. She didn't hit the brakes. It was one of those hills where if you hit the brakes, you could roll it, but she didn't. She just rolled right through it, even though it felt sketchy, and did a great job on it.
Yeah, I guess one of the parts that really had me like, oh shit, kind of thing. We were going up a hill to go see this little cave that Larsons have, and
I'll post some pictures. I don't think I might have got a video of her coming up.
But there's a couple of trees, and the RZR was just small enough to fit between the trees that he had me go through. And I was coming up, and I didn't see him at first. I could just see his 4-wheeler. And he's telling me, like, park here. And I'm like, oh, but there's trees. So then here I am trying to turn, slow down a little bit, but not too slow. I think that part was probably one of the scariest parts on me.
It is goofy, too, because when you're coming up, you don't want to just stop and roll backwards. You kind of come up and plateau onto a flat spot.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit easier spot, so she had to try and turn around up there.
Yeah, no, overall, I'm very happy with the machine. Like I said in the beginning, like, I'm proud of myself for the way I drove. I didn't go over crazy like I do when we're out at his family farm.
Where it's wide open.
Yeah. And just being able to stay relaxed in situations like that where I didn't have to, okay, like, I don't know, I guess the machine was awesome, and I'm glad with our purchase. So
yeah, I think it was a great purchase. We got about 400 miles on it. That's why it's not here. It's out getting its first service. We were a couple hours from its first service, but with West Virginia coming up, I wanted it done before then, because we'll probably put a good 8-10 hours on the machine down there, I would gather, if not more. We've got 4 days of riding down there, so it should be a blast.
And we're staying right on the trail, or spot where we can get to trails.
Yep,
so.
Very excited to go down there. If you guys have any recommendations on spots to check out while we're down there, definitely comment below, because it's one of those things where I have 2 planned days of riding. It's kind of how I like to do things if we're going on a trip. 2 planned days of riding where I want to go, and then I'll ask locals or other people that have been there where they recommend going, because there's so much to see down there that we know we're not going to see everything.
Do you know where we're staying, so they have a rough?
Can't think of the name of the town. We're staying at places called Hillbilly Heaven, I believe.
If you know where that is, or if you've been to West Virginia, like, what area?
It's more the southern western side of West Virginia, I believe, is where we're staying. So
I guess just if you know
in
places
general,
in
by
general.
Rock House is one of the main trail systems we'll be on, I guess would be the easiest way to say it. Rock House is one of the biggest one that we'll be by, so we'll be hitting that area and ripping. Get a really good feel on the machine and know how it really handles after being down there. I don't want to make this a mud machine like I did my Grizzly. It's kind of nice because now having the RZR, I can more dedicate the Grizzly to being a mud bike, but also have it so it can go on the trail. So when when 3 of us go riding, our oldest, my wife, and I go riding, we can go out and have fun. The only dilemma is what we're going to run into is eventually our youngest is going to want to start riding, and we're going to
Well, the nice thing is Liam will eventually be able to
have his own 4-wheeler. But
yeah, so
for trail riding, neither of us like 4 seats. They're so long.
Yeah.
So
we tried to get into them, but it was just not for us. So
every single one we looked at, we didn't care for.
But when that comes, we'll keep you posted. But for now, we got a couple of years. So.
But yeah, like I said, well, I'll pop clips in and out of riding. Most of it's her driving. I think from a viewer standpoint and watching her, I wish I would have got some more video. I didn't have the GoPro with, so wasn't able to just pop a GoPro on. Unfortunately, I forgot it behind. But she did a very, very good job for her first time out. I kind of threw her to it. And well, I'm wrong. She did ride one other time for 5 minutes out at Syracuse. she rode out at Syracuse Labor Day weekend. She rode for just a little bit, but she was in an accident the week of.
Yeah.
So she was sore, so she didn't ride a whole lot that day. But that was pretty much a wide open trail.
Well, that one was a one-way, so we didn't have to worry about people coming at us, which
Yep.
was super nice because
It was a good learning place there, but
Yeah.
for her to get into like more of a what I would call technical riding place, she did a really good job. Better than some other people that I've seen ride from other places. But she's also been riding with me for 10 plus years, so that definitely helps.
yes.
It helps learn. So
Sorry.
don't want to make this too long. Get out and ride your machines. Let us know where you're from. Let us know where you ride. Let us know what you ride. We want to know what kind of machines you ride, where you ride, and just get out and enjoy your rides.
Sorry, this video was a little late.
Yeah, I've been trying to make this video. It's just been busy life. So, but
yes.
enjoy the footage, and have a great night.